Oh yeah, colored pencils. This is the Botanical Garden set from Prismacolor, and yeah, I'm just really excited to use these. I have a couple of older colored pencils that I'll also be using in the drawings today. So to get started, I went ahead and swatched out the new set and some of my older stuff over on the right. And I drew a little star next to the ones that I really wanted to try. I wanted to just lean into the sense of inspiration that I had when I got this set. I just feel really excited to use new colors immediately, and the best way I can just get started is drawing from imagination. So for the first piece here, I'm going to be drawing from my comfort zone, which is just humans. And the more that I use this color, the more it felt a little bit more somber to me when I looked at it, but when I started drawing with it, it just felt like such a vivid, playful color. I really love when people use a lot of pink in their drawings. I think it's just such a cute, playful color to use. And the more I use this, I was like, oh, this is my time to start using more pink in my own drawings. Well, this is like kind of pink. It's like a very dark pinkish purple. I started out by drawing a more playful sort of pose, and I was thinking about the times that I feel a sense of playfulness in life. And a lot of the times when I would go out and just do everyday things that I would have to do, like whenever I had to go to work or classes in the past, there would be these little periods in between where I would be running from one place to the next, and I would always have my headphones on during that time. I really loved playing energetic music to just add, I don't know, there's just something about walking while you're listening to energetic music that feels so good. You can walk to the tempo of the beat, and it's good. It's good stuff. And whenever I would just kind of be running in between, even if it was 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I would just take these long walks and listen to music, and that was a really good time for me. It was a time for me to get some exercise and also just lean into a sense of playfulness in my day. So I drew this girl who is wearing running shorts and just like a nice easy breezy top so that she can go around her day and just listen to music while running some errands. And I feel like that's just a good vibe to me. That's what this color it felt like it was a good way to use this color. And I really wanted to keep things casual, and sorry, I mispronounce casual all the time. I say casual or casual, and people make fun of me all the time for using the wrong one. So anyway, I drew some space buns on her because I think those are also super duper cute. It's just, yeah. Ever since I saw space buns, and also I saw it on Sailor Moon, I was like, oh my god, that is so cute. And every time I see someone wearing space buns, I just feel happy because I'm like, yeah, they're living their best life. You know, look at them having fun. So I also drew this kind of bouncy font on the shirt and this cute little flower because flowers and fun little fonts I feel are just great combination. I don't really know very much about designing shirts, but for this time I was like, yeah, you know what, this is passable. And at this point, I wanted to make things pop a little bit more. Things just start getting hidden once you color things in with the same color. So I just went in and started doing a bit of line art around certain pieces. Yeah, and I also added this tote bag because I have been seeing a lot more tote bag around lately, and I think that it's nice. I also just don't know very much about what kind of bags people use. So I was like, what kind of bags even exist in the world? And I was like, yeah, tote bags. I'm just trying to go with what I think people wear. Whenever I used to run errands, I always carried a big backpack. That felt a little too unwieldy, a little too not playful kind of energy. So I just decided to go with that tote bag. And now, adding in a little bit of stronger contrast, it's just nice. I really like the look of just strong, kind of thick line art on the outside. It makes a piece just feel so much more polished, although I really also enjoy the look of just sort of lineless styles. That also is really beautiful to me. But this time I wanted to try something a little different. I've been trying to make my works look more polished. Usually I just do a lot of sketches, and it's it's not a bad thing. It's a part of the artistic journey, but I really want to grow my comfort zone and just experiment with new things and see if I enjoy it. I have like hundreds of pages from the past few years of drawing that are just tons of copy paper with sketches because I didn't feel like I was good enough to make finished compositions, so I just used copy paper and just did quick sketches. But now I've been trying to give myself permission to enjoy art more, and letting myself enjoy art with more investment. So I'm actually drawing here in my first sketchbook, which my older sibling very kindly bought for me. And this is actually the first sketchbook I've actually really drawn in with the intent of finishing, even though I have been drawing for over a decade now. I didn't feel like I was ready to start letting art have a more prominent place in my life, even though I did it so much, because I guess I had that empty page fear, and it's not that I think that my art is good enough and that's why I bought it. It was more like I felt like I was willing to allow myself to enjoy things more and actually spend money to indulge those interests. So yeah, buying these colored pencils was another part of that journey. I do not really use color a lot. I almost always used graphite pencils that were laying around because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I should be getting, buying color materials, but now I am, and it's just a really nice and exciting experience for me to be trying out this new stuff, and it's just so much fun. Like, playing with color is so much fun. Just a few months ago when I finally started experimenting with it. I had a lot to learn about composition and just making things look more polished beyond just a quick unfinished sketch. And honestly, I still have a lot to learn. I feel like composition is one of my weakest fundamentals wise, but it's just still fun to learn and just kind of dive into things. I've been adding more text into my drawings lately. I think that it's just it gives such character to a piece when you start adding text in. And also borders. Like, I've recently been seeing artists that add borders into their work, and oh my gosh, that is so, I don't know, it's just so cute. It's so good. Like, it adds beautiful polishing touch to pieces that I enjoy so much. And I did not really know what to add here exactly. I wanted to add like still to that playful kind of vibe, so I didn't want to go in with anything too spiky. I just went in with some more circly looking stuff because I thought that would give it a bubbly sort of look. I really enjoy the look of just like little pieces within a stamp-like kind of exterior. And it's just, I know I'm saying cute a lot, but oh my gosh, it's so cute. It's so freaking cute. And so I added that here because it reminded me of a stamp, and I thought, yeah, why not? Why not add it? So it takes me a hot minute to finish up the border here, but yeah. Overall, like, in terms of adding color, because I am really inexperienced in it, again, like, I only started adding color into my drawings about, I don't know, just a few months ago, and it was a really, just like a really new journey for me, and sometimes frustrating, because it's hard to do something new and just, like, feel like you suck at it. But it was, you know, it ends up being kind of fun after a while. Like, you start to see your progress, and more than seeing your progress, like, things start to feel a little bit more intuitive. And I definitely am still very much a beginner to using color, but this was really fun. It's just, yeah, it's just nice to go in, try something new, and let yourself mess up a little. This second piece, I have been looking at forest floors in art pieces, and also just been thinking about it in general. When I was younger, I watched a lot of Studio Ghibli. Well, I don't know about a lot. Like, I don't really watch a lot of movies. Studio Ghibli movies were probably one of the very few movies I ever watched, so that's why that comes to mind. But I remember very distinctly these beautiful scenes from nature, and especially like the forest floor. It just, I don't know, I dream about it a lot. I dreamt a lot about forest floors as a child, so for some reason it's just a really prominent part of my psyche, and I just it features a lot in my thoughts and sometimes in my drawings. I have not drawn the forest a whole lot, so you can see here I'm trying to draw moss, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I was looking at well, I finally started diverging from imagination here. I looked up a reference of moss, and I was trying to capture the sort of like all of the different colors I was seeing, but I was just kind of winging it around this point, and I was going to draw a tree, but I was looking at it, and I was like, you know, actually, it could be cool if I turn this into something else, so I started turning it into a dress, or like a really long cloak of a sort. I was really struggling a bit with the colors here, but again, it's a learning process. I should really start drawing more scenes from nature, because I just really dig that stuff. It's just really nice. It's so pleasing to look at. I love it so much. It's so beautiful. And the way that artists portray nature is so Oh man, there is just so much to be inspired about all the time. Like whether you're looking at nature or you're looking at artists, the way that they simplify nature, there is just like so many ways to find beauty in the world. Like, I didn't even really think about appreciating certain things until I could see that some artists would draw exclusively that thing. And I would think to myself, oh my gosh, isn't it just so beautiful that somebody loves something so much that and sees so much beauty in it and took so much time to just memorize the form of it, the colors of it, the way light interacts with it, to be drawing it so often. And that's the way that I felt whenever I would just see something like a weed growing in the ground, or when I would see a leaf with a bunch of holes in it, or like mushrooms. I don't know. The way that artists draw mushrooms, like man, it's just great. I've never thought about mushrooms and thought of it as such a beautiful thing until I started seeing the way that other people saw mushrooms. I know that like art is a way of people showing you what they see, and I feel like the way some people love certain things that they draw is just so apparent, because the time that it takes to really draw something accurately is kind of like, it feels kind of like an act of love to me, because you have to really sit and understand that thing. You have to really look at it and memorize like plane changes and stuff like that. You have to understand how light interacts with it. You have to know what kind of context you usually find it in. You know, you have to think about just all kinds of things. All kinds of things. You have to think about what that thing is to you and how it looks. And so when you think about that, like even if I don't necessarily end up drawing that thing or want to draw that thing, I usually just, I feel so inspired by artists that draw literally anything that they draw because it's like, oh my gosh, you know, there's just so much like reverence in understanding and imitating the beauty of a thing, and simplifying it and adding your own taste to it is great. It's awesome. Anyway, so I drew like a little mushroom hat on this person. It's just, I was talking about mushrooms and I was thinking about mushrooms while I was making this, so that's where that came from. And it's just these pink leaves. I thought it might be a nice contrast to the green of the cloak looking thing, and I wanted to keep the lines yellow because I think that yellow just adds this wonderful vibrancy when it's used as line art. Like when you have a really nice strong yellow, or even a really subtle yellow, it just adds like a certain ethereal look to things. And I was trying that out because I want my art to feel a little, just feel a little bit otherworldly. I drew, I'm not sure if this is, you call it a gecko, a salamander, or a lizard. I just wanted to draw a kind of vibrant creature curling around this entity in the center here, because I think it's really cool when you're just out taking a walk in a forest or a natural environment of some kind, and you can see this little rustle in the middle of it all, and it ends up being a little critter or something like that. That is always so incredibly exciting to me. I can count how many times I say exciting in this video, but anyway, yeah, I find that so cool, because you just kind of run into another being who's living their life, and I don't know, there's just something nice about that candid encounter. You think about the life around you, you think about the other beings that are around you, and it's always inspiring to see life in little ways surrounding you. Like to think about the life cycle of leaves. When you draw dead leaves on a forest floor, you have to think about, why would there be dead leaves on the forest floor? Why would that be realistic? Or when you draw little saplings growing out of the ground, you have to think about, this is what makes a piece realistic. You think about all of the pieces of life that makes something feel real, feel like lived in. And that is really cool to me. I really like that observational part of drawing, because it just makes you think, why is this thing there? Why does this make it feel more real? I think that is something that's just really nice about sitting outside and observing anything. It just makes you curious. And art especially makes me really curious in a way I really love. Because whenever I try drawing things like animals or plants, things that I don't typically draw, I always end up looking at reference photos and thinking to myself, why is there this bone here? Or I think to myself, why are there like, 7 fingers on this animal or whatever? You end up thinking about these little things. Like, you don't really think about how many segments there are on a shrimp. At least I haven't. Until you have to actually draw the shrimp. And to draw a realistic shrimp, you have to count those segments. You have to draw out those segments. It just really sparks curiosity. You end up wondering about so many different things. And it's nice. Like, I really like drawing new things lately because it just sparks so much curiosity in me, and just like a newfound appreciation for nature and the beings and the living things I encounter. You end up wondering about, what does make something feel real? And to wonder about that question, you have to think about what that thing is, how it relates to the world. You have to think about, this makes sense to me because I live like that. Or you just end up being in awe of the mystery of, I guess I don't know this thing as well as I thought I did. I mean, I felt that way when I was drawing pelicans. I was wondering to myself, what is this giant flap? Like, what is this material? Like, is it skin? What is this? And it was just so interesting to me. Yeah. I know I'm just like saying the same thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. But it's true, like it's true. Yeah. So I just did a simple little outline. Because I drew little water droplets splashing onto the leaves and the head of this little creature, I decided to draw in a couple of drops of water splashing in on the outside. And yeah, that wraps up this piece.